In this video, we learn about fragments, a feature that lets you render multiple sibling elements at the top level without the need of an enclosing DOM node, such as a div. Let's begin. By now, you should be able to render lists of React components or elements. React makes it really easy to iterate over a collection and render component instances. But React components can really render one root element. For instance, rendering multiple top-level elements is not allowed. This is why we often end up wrapping multiple instances of elements or dynamically generated list nodes inside divs or some other wrapping element. This element forms the root and everything else is rendered as a child. This approach is fine if you're using the wrapped element for styling purposes, for instance. But if the purpose is to merely act as a wrapper so that React can render multiple instances, then you're actually rendering an extra DOM node. This problem is compounded if you're rendering many instances of a wrapper, such as in this case where the only purpose is to render these three siblings at the top level. The wrapper div is just rendered to legitimize the three siblings at the top and is excess baggage really. This isn't a healthy practice and leads to a bloated DOM for no reason whatsoever. To prevent this problem, React provides fragments, a feature that lets you render multiple sibling elements or components without incurring the cost of rendering an extra DOM element. The easiest way to refactor the component on the left is to replace the div with a fragment element like so. Notice here that fragment has been imported from the React library for use. A much more convenient syntax, which does not require any special import, is this. This shorthand syntax can be used especially if you're using the Create React App utility to bootstrap and develop your React application. Fragments do not render anything in the DOM, but enable React components to render multiple sibling nodes easily. When rendering as a part of a mapped collection, however, you should use the fragment syntax because you'll need to specify the key attribute. The shorthand syntax does not permit any attributes or props. At the time of recording this video, the fragment syntax only permits the key prop and does not allow you to define any custom props or event listeners. This means that if your component instances need to have event listeners of some sort or require custom props, then you should stick to using a conventional element such as a div to wrap your elements. Fragments are an incredibly easy way to efficiently wrap and render multiple elements at the top level. This way, they do not tax the DOM with unwanted nodes and tremendously optimizes your component, especially if it has to render a large number of elements. Now that you are fully equipped to render efficient lists using React, try and build list-driven UIs to practice your newly acquired skills.